Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Manic Miners. Yes, I have kept you waiting long enough. I think it's about time we do this. So, I am absolutely terrified. I'm absolutely terrified because this is quite possibly the most anticipated video I've ever made in my life, both in terms of me anticipating it and likely in terms of you anticipating it as well. So if anything goes wrong with this, I'm going to be really upset, but never mind. So, more months ago than I thought it would be, I made the previous video on Manic Miners and said that I wouldn't play it again until 1.0 came out. Well, 1.0 has not come out, but they have released what they're calling Release Candidate 1, which is a kind of experimental build for version 1.0. Essentially, this has 99% of the things in it that they want to have in it, and they're releasing this to check for bugs and things like that. But since everything is here that I wanted to be in the game by the time we tied up the campaign, I have decided that now is the day to play Rocky Horror and complete the main campaign of Manic Miners and close a chapter that has been open for a long time. And goodness, is there a lot to show you. I have a whole list of different things that I want to demonstrate as new additions to the game. Alrighty then, so there have been some slight changes to sort of the UI and the feel of things here, but I'll talk more about that at the end. Right now, we all know what we're all here for. We're all here for a wee bit of
Rocky Horror.
Indeed. So without further ado, we shall play Rocky Horror.
This is it, Rock Raider. This is what it's all been building up to. We know there is an abundance of energy crystals deep in the caverns around our Rock Raider HQ. The scanners show that there are rock monsters all over the place. This mission will be your toughest yet, but it must succeed if we're to escape from the planet and return home. Establish the Rock Raider HQ as a formidable outpost and transport the most powerful mining machinery you can. You'll need all of it if you are to collect the 50 energy crystals that we still need. Take care down there, Rock Raider.
Thank you. I'm scared out of my life. No, it's not. We haven't even started yet, man. Calm down. What? Where's the geological centre? Isn't there supposed to be a geological centre here? Or am I going crazy and misremembering things? Well, look who's there. Look who's here. You mischievous little beasts. You have not been here before, and I've been grateful of that. Also, look at these little snooze meters and so forth. Right then, I suppose there's no more faffing about to be done. Let's get on with it. Okay then, so, yes, time for a bit of Rocky Horror. Okay, I suppose, I'm sorry, I'm going to be quaking for quite a lot of this. I feel more nervous doing this than I even did in,
transport powerful mining vehicles.
I will, I promise. I feel even more nervous doing this than I did doing Back to Basics. Hang on, I need to change a setting. I forgot! Right, sorry about that. Just a little frame rate issue that needed to be sorted out. I should probably, get these people with some sort of weaponry for the sake of, us not all getting horrifically murderfied. Okay, that's been upgraded, which is good, which means we need to get on with building our support station for the sake of not all suffocating to slightly death. Okay, so as you can see, they have made some changes to the UI. Now we've got little counters for things down here. I don't know what that is. In terms of 3, I assume these are like the number of crystals in use and the number of crystals that are not in use. I'm not sure how this goes. Collected crystals, you can use. Yes. Oh, it seems we can change this whole thing around. Oh, okay, right, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah, they've just changed all of this slightly. Oh, this is the number of defenders. Oh, so like the number of armed people. That's a useful statistic to know. Yeah, and then you've got your standard number of sort of buildings and things like that. I've got more than one building, mate, but never mind, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so they sort of changed the UI a little bit to kind of make it a little bit sharper, I think, to make it a little bit more snazzier than it once was. What you might also have picked up on is a change to the music. No one's scared of the bats? Nobody's scared of the bats? Well, goodness, that's nice, but also confusing, because I don't remember that being the case. Could the electricity be working? The electricity could not be working. Could the electricity be working? Thank you, thank you. I think being able to breathe is slightly more important than this. What? What's this number? Is this showing me the amount of time until it's going to fill back up again? That's a useful piece of information to have, though not exactly what I was expecting, but I'm grateful for it nonetheless. Let's do a bit of mining, please, and probably also set up a bit of electric fence so that we don't all get eaten by various different monstrosities. Yeah, so they changed the UI. One other thing that they have changed is the music. Now, I don't know how well this is going to come across, because it's going to get recorded, pumped through an editor, then exported, then uploaded, and then streamed. So all of those different things are going to happen, so there's no way of knowing whether the music will actually sound decent by the time it gets to you, but hopefully it does, because this is not remastered music exactly, but it is sort of new music. So let me tell you what happened with the music. I was initially under the impression that the music was an original creation made for Manic Miners. However, that is not accurate. The music that we've been listening to throughout the series thus far did previously exist within the game. If you played it with the disc in, you could hear the music. If you played the game without the disc, apparently then you couldn't hear the music. How or even why exactly that works, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. So I wasn't familiar with listening to it with the music because I didn't play it with the disc in. Most of the time when I was playing it on a sort of a file version rather than playing it off the disc, which was sort of ripped off the disc and then put on my computer to make it run on a Windows 10. Goodness knows I don't know how it works. I had somebody else set it up for me. Nice person did that for me because I didn't know the first thing about computers. So they figured all of that out for me and basically got it running with the famous missing .dll file, which prevents it from running standardly on Windows 10, so you have to do a bit of faffing around with that. Anyway, that's why I hadn't heard the music before. However, the music does exist, and the developer of Manic Miners got in touch with the original artist who produced the music and asked them if they had, I can't remember how they described it, I think it was uncompressed versions. So apparently the music had to be compressed and its quality went down to meet kind of disc capacity back in 1995 when that sort of thing came at a premium. And they got hold of the sort of uncompressed higher quality versions, which they have been allowed to put in the game. So now all the music is the original tracks in their higher quality versions, and I think it sounds a bit better, and hopefully you do as well. So yes, that is nice. We can listen to nice music, and this is good. What's a bit less good, however, is I'm a bit worried about erecting this fence over here, because he's undoubtedly going to come over here and eat my face. But never mind, I guess I can try and put one there. I've learned to put my fence slightly further away from the base than I used to back in the old days because of how vicious and violent the Yoli monsters are. I don't know how quickly they are to detect, but yes, yeah, so now we have a sort of nice, new, fresh music, and isn't that lovely? Oh goodness, somebody's been hit in the face with a badness. This is not good. I'm actually shocked that no extra monsters have turned up yet. To be honest, I was expecting a repeat of Back to Basics where we got absolutely besieged and belittled, shall we say. That's what I was expecting, but gladly that has not happened, at least not yet. I should probably bring down some more folks, should I not? Additional peeps for the additional doing of things. And I've just realised something horrific, which I didn't realise. Never mind, I'll fix that later. There was something that I was planning on doing in this level, and for some reason it hasn't happened. It was meant to happen at the beginning. I'm not sure why that hasn't happened, but it hasn't, and I'll have to deal with that later. Anyway, never mind about that stupidity. I will show you that at the end. We will come back to that at the end, and I'll show you that. Let's have a look at some other things that that they have done. So they have reworked the radar. As you can see, the radar is now fully functional. You can see the individual little peeps on here. I think you can track them as well, just like you could in the original game. So here we're tracking little Brickster Man, and he is going to trot off. And yep, you can now track them. You should be able to track the vehicles as well, as best I understand it. Can we also... Yes, we can also look at this, which I'm not entirely sure I ever used this back in the old days, but it's a thing you've got. Oh, you can also turn that on and off if you want. How cool is that? Very is the answer to that question. What's that? That's the... Yeah, that's the That of Doom. Please tell me these things are inactive. They were in the original version, but I don't trust this. I don't trust Manic Miners not to have them remain defunct. And we also, of course, have our beasts. No, I'm not worried about the floor, for crying out loud. At least you can leave that there to see if they wake up, I guess. There's all sorts of buttons out here. What do these do? What? Toggle draw world tiles. Ugh. I think I broke it. Oh, you can sort of turn on and off various different bits and bobs. Oh, isn't that nice? You can turn off like the resources. What's this? Scan and arrange. Oh, you can turn those off as well if you don't like them. Ooh, a frustrum. There's a word I haven't heard since I did a GCSE in mathematics. Okay, but yeah, fully functional radar now, which of course we've been lacking before, so lovely to have the little bats as well. So we've got fully functional radar. Ain't that lovely? You can use that to your heart's desires. Okie dokie then. I am missing a few things. I need to get to building additional bits and bobs, do I not? I don't really know where I want to build this because I'm a bit scared. I actually want to beam this up and then get this bit of pathway here cleared, and then put another piece of path here because I want to put the this here if that's not too much of a imposition for us all to have. These look a bit shinier as well. These seem a bit sort of higher res than they used to, which is nice. Did I see something different occurring here? Yes, they've sort of changed the. I'll do it on that one so you can see. Sort of changed the screens of this to show you sort of what sort of things are required and all that sort of wunderbar jazz. Let me get rid of this piece as well, and then we'll build a super teleport pad here, I think, and then we'll also build an upgrade station here. In the meantime, I don't want you peeps standing around with naught to do, so we may as well get you doing bits of work. Let's set that to build here. I haven't heard anything about them implementing some kind of rotating thing. Like, it would be real cool if you could just press this here and then like press R or something and it would just sort of spin around in a circle. Because when you've got things like this and you're trying to, I don't know, get it to face like along these two squares here, so it's kind of facing into the base, it can be a bit fiddly and finicky trying to get it in the right spot, as you can see. So I think it would be cool if they implemented that, but I don't know if they will do anything like that. It would be cool, but goodness knows nobody should listen to me because I'm a lunatic and an idiot and a crazy person who's speaking incredibly fast because he's incredibly nervous. But other than that, everything's totally fine. Sorry, I don't mean to be so scared and nervous. I've just been anticipating this for so long, and I'm just a bit nervous. I'm a bit frightened, but hopefully it will be alright. Okay, we've got a few more other bits and bobs going on, so everything seems to be alright. I noticed this, which was not here previously. This is nice and all shiny and cute, which was not in previous versions. I seem to remember the recharge seams did have some level of spangliness to them back in the original game, so that's all nice to see. Okay then. I really want to erect the fence in that corner, because that's our major weak spot at the moment, but I sort of can't. I probably shouldn't be running this close along here, but I'm going to for the sake of the symmetry of nothing, basically. Yeah, that's a pain in my bum. Never mind. Actually, thinking about it, if I'd built it kind of inwards so that the building was there and the path was there, it would make the base look ugly, but it would make it safer. There's something to think about. Except we're not going to think about it, we're going to carry on talking. Okay, so what other things have they implemented? Well, since we're putting down electric fence, I might as well tell you the things that they've changed with the electric fence. The electric fence has apparently become immune to dynamite, which I'm going to test with this bit of rock here. let me upgrade the tool store so that we can actually use it. I want to blow this piece of rock to Kingdom Come, which is kind of overkill given this is a piece of dirt and a man could probably dig through it with his own mind, let alone any kind of a tool or object or thing to do it with. So, let's see what happens. Yes, as you can see, the dynamite has new little timer, which you didn't, which it used to have, but it didn't have in the previous version of Manic Miners. And as we can see, the electric fence is now immune to dynamite, which is lovely and makes my life a whole heckin' load easier in terms of not having to worry about blowing holes in my perimeter defences, accidental-like, or possibly quite intentional-like, depending on what exactly it is I'm doing. So that's nice. That's made that a little bit more robust, and they have fixed, what should we call it, Phil's Bane? Should we describe it as that? Do you remember, if you watched the Back to Basics video, there was a wall, right? There was like a wall, a bit like this, and I put electric fence all the way along it, and I said, I'm not going to reinforce this wall, because that stops the monsters coming out, and I want the monsters to come out, so that they come out of the wall, step into the electric fence, and immediately die. And then they stepped out, and the electric fence went off slightly too quickly, and the recharge on the electric fence meant that the monster didn't die, and then he came into the base, and he destroyed everything, and everything got ruined, and I got a bit cross. Yeah, you remember that? They've changed that now. Apparently it works this way it used to, and that badness doesn't happen anymore. So apparently they've changed that so that that's not an issue anymore, which is nice. I don't know if lots of people are encountering that issue, but I'm very grateful they've sorted that out. So oh, I've backed myself into a horrific corner here. I can't build my upgrade station here because I don't have a piece of path. Ah, that was stupid of me. Never mind, it doesn't matter. I'll build another piece of path there and put something there later. I've forgotten what I'm doing because I'm scared. Okay then, never mind. I'm still really freaking scared of you. Okay. Alright, we talked about the electric fence, we talked about the dynamite timers. They've also added, in these sort of little in-the-air visual things, they've added a little damage indicator for the miners. When they got hurt in the original game, like, you know, dynamite or a monster or a landslide or whatever, a little number would sort of come out of their brain, a bit like the little Zs coming out of the monsters here, to indicate that they were taking damage and to show you exactly how much, in a sort of numerical way. And apparently that's been added in now. I don't really want to force any of them to get hurt for that to happen, but if inevitably one of them do get hurt when 50 million monsters turn up, when this probably goes south very, very quickly, then we'll see what happens. Yeah. I suppose we could build this to put here, yeah, because we built that as like a turret, don't we? Yeah, I'd forgotten we sort of use this as a turret these days. I like the little pictures of like the little buildings. I think that's quite a nice way of doing that. Apparently they've fixed this. Yes, they have, right. So in previous versions, this is more of a bug than a feature, but in previous versions this little sort of preview model wasn't working properly because the actual laser bit wasn't present, it was just the tower. I might splice in an image of that from a previous experimental version for you to look at, but yeah, it didn't used to work properly, but they've mended that now, which is nice because that was something that I'd noticed was a little bit of a pickly problem, so I'm glad they've sorted that out. For no particularly good reason, I'm just going to stick a load of electric fence along the end here, just to leave me this bit of land here, this bit of real estate if you like, should I so desire to use it. Out of interest... yeah, it still does that, which is curious. It starts pointing in one direction, and then after you activate the laser for the first time, it then moves around a different direction, which is strange. You know what else is strange? There's no spiders anywhere. Rocky Horror was... I always remember Rocky Horror for having 50 bazillion spiders in it, but oddly there's no spiders here today. Not sure what all that's about, but it's alright, doesn't matter much. How many crystals have we got? We've only got 4 to spare. Let me turn that off and that off. That gives us 6 to spare. What could we get? We could get a granite grinder. However, I think I'd like something a little bit more iconic. That's the word I'm looking for. A little bit more iconic for this, I suppose, for the big thing that it is. So why don't we get a chrome crusher instead, which means we're going to need 2 more crystals. Have we found them? We have found 1, which represents a deficit of 1. Which is less than excellent, but I'm sure we'll survive one way or the other. Okie dokie, never mind. What else have I not discussed? I've discussed everything in my first paragraph. Discussed the bats. We can't really see. We can't really see because they're all snugged up having a little snooze. Or possibly having a shiver, judging by what they actually look like. Actually, no, I don't think I will mention that. I think I'll keep that until the end when we want to tie up a few extra little bits and bobs. I think I'll leave that till the end. But yes, we do have the bats, which I do notice are actually made with the one of the little models, if you like, of a Lego bat, which is nice attention to detail. I like it when they actually use the original Lego pieces to model these little creatures, because I think they used to be much like the spiders and be a kind of a 2D texture, if you like, that is kind of floated around, as opposed to now when they're actually made of the original Lego piece, like the spiders are now, which is good. Although, if I remember correctly, the Lego spider, at least the model they're using for the spider in this, is a heck of a lot younger than Rock Raiders is itself. I'm not sure when that piece was introduced. I associate that model of the Lego spider with many of the Lego Indiana Jones sets, the Indiana Jones theme. That's what I associate that piece with, which I think was, can't remember when those sets came out, probably like late 2000s, like 2008, 2009 probably. I feel like that's probably when they came out, so yeah, I feel like they didn't have the piece back then, so even if they'd wanted to do like a 3D model, they couldn't have. There we go, that's what I wanted. Good, good, good. There we are, good. That gives us a spare one as well. Isn't that nice? The lack of spiders means I can't show you something else that I want to show you. I'll do that at the end as well. Never mind. There is something I want to experiment with. This was something they were talking about in one of the changelogs, and I want to play around with it. Let me press Control and then highlight a group of people. No, that didn't work. I meant highlight a group of people, then press Control and 1. There we are. Now, I'm going to press 1 and click on this wall here. I'm then going to highlight them, press Control and 2. Then I'm going to press 2 and click on there. Indeed. So what they have done is they have created groups. Indeed. And I am not reinforcing the walls that I really ought to be. I'm also not getting the Chrome Crusher that I really ought to be, but never mind. To create a group, hold left control on your keyboard and either click this button or press the 0 to 9 number keys. You can make group 0. Can you do that? Seems a bit mean. I feel I should get a better title than that. To select a group, either click this button or press the number keys without control being held. Indeed, so you can create groups of people. You can assign teams, if you like, of little miners in order to tell them to do different things, which is a nice little additional feature. Isn't that cute and adorable and fluffy? Well, it's not fluffy, but, you know, it's everything else. It's everything else, isn't it? Who should we have? I suppose we should have me, if only I can find me. Where have I gone? I was having my dinner, that makes sense. I was having my supper directly before this, so it only makes sense that that would happen. Right then, we have got our little vehicle, which isn't very little, and we also can barely see it because it's parked in a squiffy place, because I'm a rubbish driver. But all of this is beside the point. What matters is that, I want to build an upgrade station in this very messy and squiffy base, but never mind. It's alright, it's not the end of the world. I'm still confused by this number of different crystals here. I think this is showing the number of crystals that are available. Crystals used for winning... What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Talking rubbish. This is the number of crystals that are like freely available, i.e. the amount not being used to power a building, versus this is the total collected crystals, which includes the amount which are currently being used to power a building. So that sort of makes sense. Oh yeah, that frame rate seems much better now. I'm not so worried about it. Okie dokie then. Oh, we've not enough crystals. Fiddlesticks and darn everything and confound it and all sorts of other silly words that apparently we say on this channel for reasons that nobody understands, including myself. Let's drill some things. I mean, this is, you know, sort of like the point of the game. It is called Rock Raiders, not Stand Around and Yammer Raiders. I don't think that would have sold as well back in 1905. Particularly since me and my brand of yammering wouldn't even be born for another 6 years. But that isn't the point. The point is, I don't know what the point is. The point is that, oh goodness, we're a bit close to his backside. I don't really want to destroy his home, particularly since he's got a lovely little pathway here to his supper. So I might choose to be a bit more careful with that than I'm being. Let me set those to be reinforced, and then we'll bring this over here and try and get a bit of repairs done. Because we've got 230 pieces of ore, I've just realised, which is an awful lot more, and implies I've been yammering on for a heck of a lot longer than I'd ever planned to. We can't upgrade this because this thing isn't on. And it still isn't on, and now it's finally on. Okay, let's upgrade this. Let's upgrade the engine. Let's get it a bit faster. Let's take it from what I presume is meant to be a V8 to a V10, I think. Or possibly a... No, clearly a V12, because I can't count. Never mind about my GCSEs. Let's upgrade the drill, why not? Put a second... What is going on? You're supposed to be able to do this. I was going to show you could do this because I didn't know you could do this previously. I'm sorry, something seems to have gone a bit wrong here. There we are, that's better. Sorry, we just wanted to practice doing our donuts first. Now that we've figured that out, everything's fine and we can carry on with life, and I am sorry. Let's upgrade the laser as well for no particularly good reason, because we do want this thing to be a bit of a beast. There we are. There's an extra little backpack on for additional batterings of monsters. You're still doing that. Would you? Thank you very much. My dear friend, would you kindly behave yourself for 5 minutes? Okie dokie then, we are thoroughly prepared for the doing of stuff. Okay then. I feel like we should probably get rid of you. The only thing I'm worried about is when I activate this first monster, I feel like everything else is going to go to pot. In the sense that 50 million rock monsters may jump out of every single wall, like a bunch of overly excited magicians, trying to show off their latest abilities. Okay, allow me to show you something else that I didn't know you could do with the vehicles. Using the scroll wheel, you can... using the scroll wheel, you can realise that you've already scrolled down all the way, but you didn't realise. You can scroll in and scroll out enough to sort of switch into first-person mode, and then back out into third person, which is nice. Not quite sure why you'd want first person in most of the vehicles, because these things are not easy to see out of, but never mind. It don't matter, do it. What am I doing? I'm stopping. Sorry. Okay, right. I suppose we should get rid of you, which means the first thing I need to do is get hold of everybody, and get guns for everyone that doesn't have one, and you, not you, you require sandwiches. This is most important to have, because I think it's about time we went off into a tad of murdering. Just a tad, not a huge volume of violence, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because apparently they've added a hotkey for this. Goodness knows what it is, because they haven't said what it is. Is it H? No. Is it A? No, it can't be A, because that's for the camera. Z, X, C, Q, E, F, G, H, I, T, and other such consonants? Oh, goodness. No, I didn't mean to do that. I pressed the wrong button. I'm terribly sorry, sir. You've been called in when you weren't necessary. Kindly buzz off. Sorry. Didn't mean to get you all excited for nothing. Dear. Okay then, I don't know what the hotkey is, it doesn't matter. Let's begin with a bit of... Actually, do you know what? How about... Here's a better idea. How about we get everybody, we bring them into the foray, and why are you not getting healed up? Oh, you just got the thing, you didn't actually like, you know, do anything with it. Okay, let's go do some violence. Oh, they've done the better animation. That looks adorable. And they've got the little mini monsters. Now, see this? Yeah, you've gotten a bit over-ambitious, my little friends. You've gotten a bit militant on me, which wasn't quite what I had in mind. That is a lovely animation. I love the way their eyes disappear. And yes, they've added the little mini monsters. that come and disappear into the walls. I'd completely forgotten about the mini-monsters until I read them in the changelog. So, isn't that adorable? Yes, when the monsters die, 3 little mini-monsters appear that then scamper off into the rock face. And now, at the age of 21, I'm beginning to realise that is rather weird. That there's a creature that when it gets shot a lot, it breaks down into tiny versions of itself. Multiple tiny versions of itself, which is a funny mode of reproduction. But, that biological oddity slipped me by back in the old days, so, that's interesting, isn't it? Ah, dear, I'm a happy man. I'm very happy with the way this has come along. It's strange, really, because normally whenever there's a project or an idea like this to kind of revamp something that I really like, whether it's the remastering of a game or like re-releases of some music that I like, or anything really, it always ends up being a bit of a damn squib and kind of being a flop and a failure and a bit of a screw up, really. I think this is the first example I can really think of a project that I've been super duper excited for and it hasn't let me down, which is really lovely. It's really lovely. And also the other thing that this has allowed me to do is to discover the sort of the fandom for this game, which has survived throughout the decades. All of the people that still love Rock Raiders even all these years later. Because I have to confess, I thought I was an outlier, right? Because when I made the first few videos on the of the series on Manic Miners, I thought I was kind of the only person that really knew this was a thing. And I thought I was the only person who was still weirdly obsessed with it. I thought I was the only person that really loved it. And I thought this was an incredibly niche thing that like 3 or 4 people were into. I didn't realise that there was still very much a living and active fan base for this game. And that is a really wonderful thing. I'm really glad about that, because this game deserves to be loved, and it deserves to be admired and appreciated and continue to be played even these years later. And I refer both to the original Rock Raiders and also to Manic Miners. Manic Miners deserves to be appreciated and admired for its sheer excellence and its ability to stay true to the original subject matter, and the original subject matter deserves to be appreciated and remembered because it's awesome. I just wish I had a version that wasn't quite so bugged. Did I ever tell you the story of how I actually ended up playing Manic Miners? I can't remember. We started this series. Goodness, I don't even know when we started this series. I think we started in like January of 21, which is like 13 months ago. Man alive, did we really start this 13 months ago? It equally feels like yesterday and a million years ago at the same time, which is weird and wonderful. But I should probably actually like get these people in some trucks or something for the sake of them not just standing around all the time. I'm pressing the wrong button. I'm sorry, I'm very stupid. Would you like to get in little truck, please, so that you don't have to trot about so much? Anyway, yes, time for me to tell you a long and boring story that you don't want to hear, but I'm going to ramble on about anyway. So as I told you, I had a version of Rock Raiders to run on this computer, which... Thank you. I had a version of Rock Raiders that was running on this computer. However, it was bugged. It had one rather serious, irritating bug in it that sort of totally screwed up one's ability to play the game. And it was a very strange bug, and it worked like this. You'd be playing the game as normal, and then at random intervals, not at random intervals, at appropriate intervals, a monster would spawn somewhere in the world, like over here, for example. A monster would spawn, he'd pop out, and he'd say hello, and then all of your crystals, every crystal that you have, in buildings and out of buildings, would be drained completely, as if they'd been sucked by a slimy slug, right? even, you know, in levels where there aren't slimy slugs. Which was a crippling error, or a crippling bug, rather, because not all levels had recharge seams. Every level now has a recharge seam. Every single level now has a recharge seam, because of course you need it, because crystals can become drained. Am I going crazy, or did one of the rocks just like fly off into the sky there? Or am I going insane and seeing things that aren't there? I'm not sure, but never mind. Yes, in the original Rock Raiders, the levels that had recharge seams were only the... Yeah, there are rocks flying off in, like, out, as if they're exploding, which is kind of cute and crazy at the same time. The original game only had recharge seams in levels where crystals could be drained, for sort of legitimate reasons, you say. However, in this... in Manic Miners, crystals can be drained in any level because, of course, you have the... In fact, we'll do it with this, why don't we? We should do it with this, why don't we? You, of course, have the lasers, which, when you fire them, drain crystals. Now, I have to confess, this is the part where I actually don't know something about the original Rock Raiders. I'm actually not entirely sure how the original lasers worked. Please forgive my hiccups. I did have my supper right before this. Unfortunately, I'm actually a bit up and down. I'm not entirely sure how the lasers work because I never really used them. Because I think, and please do correct me if you know the correct answer to this, and I'm about to spit out the wrong answer. I think it just consumed the crystals. So if you fired a laser over a long distance, it would just totally consume, like, 3 crystals or whatever it was that was required. I really feel like more monsters should be appearing than do. You know, this is meant to be like the tough bit. This is meant to be like the task of Herculean difficulty, even though we all know that was back to basics and nothing else. But never mind. Yeah, that's... is that a symptom of the Chrome Crusher? Is that a symptom of this experimental build? I don't know, but there's something a bit screwy going on, right? It's like someone's got a little catapult with little stones in it and they're just firing them out. It's kind of silly. Anyway, yeah, I think the lasers used to just consume crystals in the original Rock Raiders, which is why I never really used them. So I can't really compare with that. Anyway, to go back to what I was talking about before I got horribly sidetracked and started rambling on about crap that nobody wanted to listen to. Allow me to return to some slightly different crap that nobody wants to listen to. Anyway, the bug occurred where monsters would spawn, it would drain all your crystals, and if there wasn't a seam there, you were completely screwed, because those crystals were just completely defunct and dead and there was no way to mend them. If there was a seam, then you could try to recharge them. The only problem is because this always coincided with a monster turning up, your base was completely defenseless, right? And at this point you probably had your full 10 miners going, so your air would drain real quick, like, right? So you can either select some stations going and fight their monster, and then go and recharge your crystals, or you could let the monster assault your base while you try to get a couple of crystals charged and then get them back to base. Basically, it was chaos and a nightmare, and it was horrific, and it really, really annoyed me, and I got really annoyed by it. So I went online looking to see if there was any record of this bug occurring. I wasn't able to find any information about it, probably because it wasn't a symptom of the original game, it was a symptom of the screwy version that I was working with for the sake of getting it running on Windows 10. So I was not able to find any information about the bug, and I was sad because I thought this meant that the game basically doesn't work now and I can't have as much fun with it. However, I then stumbled upon Manic Miners. I can't even remember how, to be honest with you. That whole afternoon is just a blur, and it was taken up so much by everything that occurred once I actually got the game into my grubby little mitts. So you'll have to forgive me that I can't really remember that, but that was a heck of a day. A heck of a day indeed. Who should we have next? We should probably have you next. Well, I'll upgrade the engine. Calm down then. Oh dear. But yeah, I'm just a very happy man to be back playing this game again, because I have missed playing this game again, and I'm sorry that it was away for so long. I know people were asking. I know people were asking for this to come back, and I wanted it to come back. But there were sort of two things. There were two things that were sort of driving me away from it, because if I hadn't come back to play the 1.0 version, as we're now playing now, I would have been playing more custom levels, and what was I talking about? And I wanted to sort of save all of these new extra things, like the bats and all the other updates and changes and things that got implemented between then and 1.0, that I'd then forget to turn the building on. Thank you very much. Are you going to go and eat sandwiches first, or not? Do sandwiches take priority? Sandwiches take priority. Continue to be adorable while eating a sandwich literally 50% of the size of your body, which is frankly impressive. Excuse me, you've completely forgotten what I asked you to do. Was that an amnesia sandwich? I don't think so. Kindly get back in your little device of rubble clearing. What was I talking about? Oh yes, I remember now. Sorry. Memory the length of a drawing pen. I do sincerely apologise. Let's actually come over and mine this bit out, because this is closer to the base, that way they won't have to travel so far. Yeah, I could have come back and played some more custom levels, but I didn't want to play a new experimental build, because a few experimental builds have sort of eked out over the months between this video and the last one, with little extra things in, like the bats, which I think came out right about Halloween. I think the bats came in, and various other little bits and bobs that sort of eked out as they wanted people to test it and so forth. But I didn't want to be playing any of those new experimental builds, because I wanted to save them for this video, so that we could kind of have everything, all of this new stuff, all in one place. We could explore it all together and have sort of one lovely sort of moment together, if you like, at this sort of concluding moment. Yeah, and I think it would sort of feel a bit weird. I thought it would feel a bit weird anyway to be playing a kind of an outdated experimental build with sort of new custom levels, and sort of not showing off things that were new in the game, if that makes any sense, or possibly that just sounds like total hogwash and other such rubbish. So that was one thing that sort of drove me away from it. The other thing was that I was terrified that if I made a video of more custom levels, I would be kind of tempting fate to have the 1.0 released like the very next day, and so like I'd publish the next custom levels video, for example, and then the next day they'd announce, oh, by the way, that we're releasing the 1.0 today, so deal with it. And then this would have to go out immediately. As it is, I'm going to try and get this up as soon as possible. After recording this on Friday evening at 9:22 in the evening. Yeah, so I was kind of scared of tempting fate there, because I didn't want there to be like two Manic Miners videos right next to each other. But that didn't end up happening, because I thought 1.0 would be coming out a bit sooner than it did. But as is so often the case with games, it got delayed for the sake of quality, and I'm glad that it was. I'd much rather wait and get something good quality than have something rushed, which is a bit rubbish. I can't remember who said it. There's a good quote about the games industry. It's something like if you wait, the game will be good. Wait a while and the game is good. Rush the game and it's terrible forever. Something like that. I can't remember who said it or what the exact wording of the quote is, but it's a good quote. It's basically, wait for games, don't be cross that they've been delayed for the sake of quality. And I think anybody that's a fan of Fallout New Vegas will attest to the veracity of that statement. Yeah, but I'm very, very, very glad that it's essentially here. Yeah, as I said, this isn't actually the 1.0 release. This is like the experimental version of it for testing and things before they release the proper one. Once they've sort of tied up any loose ends that have gone missing and things like that. This is taking a bit longer than I initially anticipated. Would you drive forward, please? Thank you very much. Okay. Let me see. What should I do? What I'm going to do? What am I going to do? Why wouldn't I do that? I'm going to tell you to go over and get in that. Yes, please. I'd appreciate that. I mean, you're not really in the skies, technically, because to be in the skies, you kind of have to, like, not be underground, and you are underground. So I'm pretty sure it's like, you know... I'm pretty sure I'm sort of not in the sky. But never mind. That doesn't matter. I am being crass and stupid, because frankly, that's all I've got left in this life. I still love these sandwiches. I've also... Yes! There we are! Thank you! Serendipity. Yeah, I've also noticed the pizzas occasionally. I'm not quite sure what, why, because they never did that in the past. Maybe that's a reference to Go Island. I don't know. I suppose it's something else I could talk about. There's another project that I'm aware of, in a similar sort of vein to this, a bit different, but not exactly the same. Let me quickly remind myself of its name. I think I know what it's called, but I don't want to get its name wrong and then look like an absolute idiot, essentially. Because nothing else in this series made me look like an idiot. Goodness no. Okay. Yes, I was correct in the name. There's another little project, similar-ish to this, called Lego Island Redux. You might have heard of it, or you may not have. If you have not heard of it, allow me to give you an education in what it's all about. At least as best I understand it, because I haven't been looking up very much information about it for keeping it as supplies for myself. But to the best of my knowledge, it's similar to this in the sense that it's sort of a indie project out of the fandom of the original sort of 90s Lego games, but it's a bit different to Manic Miners in that Manic Miners is a remastering and an expanding of Rock Raiders, versus, to the best of my knowledge, Lego Island Redux is a kind of a fan sequel, if you like. I don't think they're rebuilding the old games. I think they're kind of taking inspiration from them to kind of build a new game out of the sort of the memory of the old ones. Am I explaining this very well? Probably not, but you probably get the idea what I mean. It's kind of like a, I don't know what you call it, spiritual successor, fan sequel, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, that's a bit different to this as well, in the sense that I don't think they're planning on doing any kind of sort of early releases or anything, like experimental builds like this has. Otherwise, I probably would have played one by now. I think they're waiting until the game's a bit more complete. In fact, to be honest, I don't even know what stage it's at. It could be very, very early for all I know. It might not even be in a playable state at the moment. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, if and when that comes along, and it's appropriate, I would very much enjoy playing that, because Lego Island was another game that I loved. We played that. Goodness, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called. Let me check that as well. There was another game that we played about Lego Island. It was like a fan remake of the original, the first Lego Island game. We played that some time ago. Oh, thank you. I completely forgot what I was doing. Sorry, I was not paying attention. I was looking at my phone for the sake of looking at things. What was that Lego Island thing called? That was also called Lego Island Redux. That's annoying. They have the same name? Okay. I mean, it was an obvious name to pick, I suppose. More creative idea than Manic Miners, anyway. Yeah, we played another Lego game called Lego Island Redux, which was that sort of fan recreation, if you like, of the original Lego Island game that we played a ways back. But I don't think that is still in development. I seem to remember looking at that and seeing that it hadn't been updated in. I think it hadn't been updated since 2019, if I remember correctly, which was like 2, maybe even 3 years after I played it. So yeah, I think that's dead, unfortunately, at least to the best of my knowledge. If it's not, then I'm very glad to hear that, because I keep forgetting to turn the buildings back on. We've got 50 crystals at this point. I might as well stop turning things off for no particularly well-defined reason. Yeah, I think that one's sort of dead, but I believe the other one, the other Redux, is alive and kicking. I'm trying to think how you can find out more information about it. I think if you go onto the Discord for this game, I think somewhere in the Discord there's a link to the other Discord that's for the Redux one, right? So go to the first Discord, then go to the other Discord, and you'll probably figure it out from there. Right? Okay, good. Or like, I don't know, Google it, or ask your grandmother or something, I don't know. Maybe you've got a grandmother who's very tech-savvy and into Discord. I don't know. I don't know your life story. I don't know what's going on in your day, do I? Don't expect me to know these things. I had to look at my own middle name once, for crying out loud, because I couldn't remember it while filling in a form. So I'm clearly not the brainiest box in Britain. But never mind. If you're wondering why I keep looking down, there's a small cat on my lap who seems quite happy about life as well. So isn't that nice? What else can I say then? Because we're sort of. We're going to mine this out, and then we'll have the grand reveal of what you all know is there, and you're all wondering why I haven't been showing it to you for ages. But we'll have that once I've sort of sorted out everything else, I suppose. Is that when all the other monsters are going to turn up? Because if I mine out everything before that, there's going to be no opportunity for the monster to appear. I make a good point without realising it. Maybe I should bust this open now, in case some monsters do want to come out and join the party, so we can have a bit of fun. If they do jump out, however, they're probably going to be jumping out of here, and then they're going to go in there and do a thing that I won't want them to do. So I should probably do preparations in order to counteract that. What can I talk about in the now, in the here and the now? Something that we noted back in the earlier episodes of the series, which hasn't been expanded upon yet to the best of my knowledge, is that these sort of unique rock raiders, if you like, the actual characters from the cutscenes and excuse me.
Ready to take your orders. The time to locate crystals.
That's funny. That voice track sounded ever so slightly different to the usual one. Have they changed them slightly? I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy, or maybe I'm going slightly deaf, maybe I'm going slightly insane. Maybe nobody knows the answers to these questions, but the thing we all know is that nobody cares. These little individual people, when we did the original episodes of the series, they said that they were just cosmetic, but I'm wondering whether they might possibly consider adding in some sort of functionality to them later on. I know they're unique in that they're already trained, Dox is already a sailor, and Dox is already a geologist, and Bandit is he's called Dox, and I'm thinking of D-O-C-K-S. Not Docs as in D-O-C-S. That's what confuses me. Bandit, who's the sailor, Bandit is already a sailor, Docs is already a geologist. Wondering if they might do other little things to make the individual characters a bit more unique beyond just like their little voice lines and things like that. Don't know what they could implement. Maybe little sort of boons, little advantages, like I don't know. Doc's scanner is slightly bigger as standard, like it's got a little bit more range than most people, or like Axel can drive vehicles a bit faster, or Sparks can clear rubble a bit faster, or Jet can pilot vehicles and make them drive a little bit faster, Bandit can drive boats a little bit faster, something like that. Just give them a little boon, nothing major, but like, sort of 5-10% faster or something like that, just to make them stand out a little bit and show off their sort of specializations. Oh, these are really nice and cool, nice players. Okay, we're going to go to this war, and there's not the next one. Hooray and huzzah! 125? Oh, goodness, what a lot! You did send that email to the monster, didn't you? To whom of a silicone nature and of a rocky nature it may concern, the 1.0 release is coming out today and Phil's going to be playing it. Please make sure that you do turn up on time for the party, otherwise the audience is going to be a bit disappointed that no villainous monsters have arrived in order to screw up Phil's day. You did send that email, didn't you? Oh, you forgot! Oh, I'm sorry. You must have forgotten in all the excitement. Never mind. Maybe there's so many people playing Rock Raiders tonight that there's a shortage of monsters. Oh, who knows? Who cares? I'm just glad we're not doing another back to basics and everything gets royally mucked up. Never mind, it doesn't matter. Can I, oh, this is another thing they changed. In the priorities menu, remember they released this video about this and I completely forgot to show you. When you increase the priority levels, watch what happens. The mouse moves with it! So you can move it up! Isn't that cool? Somebody wrote a comment on one. This made me laugh my ass off when I first read it. Somebody wrote a comment on one of the earlier Rock Raiders videos, and it went something like, "Veteran player, veteran player says you can pick things up. Mind blown. Everyone else, okay." It's like, which really just made me laugh because that was very, very accurate, particularly since that was one of the early videos where I was like super nerding out with these crazy things like, oh, you can play the levels after you finish them. And it's like, oh, it's, you know, the AI isn't completely brain dead. It's like, I mean, if you've never seen this before, you must be thinking like, okay, that seems like perfectly ordinary and acceptable. But back in 1995, this was like what we were dreaming of, right? These were like the dreams of madmen who fantasized about the game working differently and maybe better than it actually did. But yeah, it just made me laugh. To be honest, a lot of the stop being mischievous, you mischievous old cat. Yeah, I don't know. We've had lots of. Would you stop breathing into the microphone? You can probably hear the cat. I saw it. I can even see the cat. You see the end of the cat. Yeah, a lot of the comments on this series have been absolutely wonderful. And I'm really glad for that. I'm really glad people have been sort of interacting and enjoying the series together. It's been wonderful to see sort of people interacting not just with me and with the channel, but also interacting with each other. To know that not only have I sort of discovered this fandom, but also to sort of see the fandom sort of meeting each other and interact and lush up a tiny bit in the comment section. It's just very nice. It makes me sort of happy to see that is all going on. So ain't that lovely? Right then. For crying out loud, I'm going an hour. No wonder my voice feels a little hoarse. Doesn't feel like an hour. I feel like I've only been doing it for about 5 minutes. There's still half a dozen other things. Half a dozen is such a bizarre phrase. Why don't we just say 6? Random point, there's nothing to do with mathematics. Why don't we just say 6? Why do we say half a dozen? Why would we use multiple syllables when we can just use one? Strange world we live in, never mind. The concept of even using a dozen is still really, really weird. It's such an imperial measurement, isn't it? A dozen. What am I going to be saying next? What else was there? Was there like a gross? What was a gross? I feel like a gross was like was it a dozen dozens? And then it was like a baker's dozen, which is like 13. This has nothing to do with anything. I'm just being reminded of things from like 15 years ago that I learned and never used, but never mind, it don't matter. It's not important, it don't matter, it's all silly, I'm talking rubbish. There we are, that's the channel's new trailer sorted out. Okay then, we've mined everything out. I guess we're sort of finished as soon as these last few crystals come back, and then I will show off the last few things that I meant to show off, but I didn't because I completely forgot like a stupid person. Let's see, where's the last one? I think it's this one. There we are. Right. Okay, what's this? Oh, you can pause the game! Isn't that nice? And then you can resume the game as well. What can you do here? Message log. Can you sort of look at past messages then? That's interesting. You can sort of look at the objectives and then you can actually exit the mission. Maybe, I'm not sure I'm going to do it from here. How do I know when I'm finished? They sort of changed how this menu works, and I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Previous menu, what's this? To quit to previous menu. I suppose. Oh? I seem to have broken the game a little bit. How do you finish the missions now? Finish the mission, please. Cleared. Good. I just didn't want it to, like, quit and, like, cancel and say, "You failed, you miserable, useless so-and-so." I'm sure they wouldn't have said anything that mean,
Your
but,
efforts have been outstanding. You've collected enough energy crystals to get the Rock Raiders team back home. You're amazing. Mission complete.
Thank you. That could be useful. Oh, dear. Hooray! We did it. Sadly, we don't get to view the credits, which used to play at the end of Rocky Horror in the original game. I don't know if they're all going to implement the cutscenes. I haven't heard anything about that. I hope they do. I think I've discussed it before. There's probably some kind of copyright issue about it, but I don't know. They maybe like recreate them in like Source Filmmaker or something, and implement those, which I think would be kind of cool and awesome and nice. But never mind. There's a few other things that I need to show you that I didn't show you earlier. That I meant to do. The first thing I need to do is to show you... Where am I going? We're going here, I think. Yes. Back up here, which we haven't been in ages. Right, sorry about that coarse jump cut. I wanted to do the big reveal here instead of doing it in the wrong screen. I think I'm going to have to bring down all 10 in order to show you this. I'm sorry about that. But, yeah, it's going to go down real quick. But, there's a little somebody who wishes to come down and say hello. It's going to take a while to arrive. The cat's arrived though, so that's nice. Come on, folks. Each one of you come down.
Build up base defences and transport powerful mining vehicle.
Right. Come along, mate. Don't be tardy. Everyone's waiting. What's happened to Axel's face? Axel, what happened to your face, lad? Friend! He speaks, but he's no mouth. That's a heck of a ventriloquism act, isn't it? Oh, how many of these people do I have? Too many is the short answer to that question. Seriously, what the hell has happened to Axel's face? There he is! Yes! When you play this final level, you get the...
Good day.
Not you. Obviously, there's a different voice actor from the guy who does like all of the announcements and stuff. But yes, when you play this level, like how when you do like search and rescue, you get docs and things. You get the chief, who I never showed in any of the previous videos because I wanted to save it for this one. But yes, you have the chief who comes down to do cool stuff. Yes, indeed. I has a nice little voice actor as well. Like other stuff. Don't worry, we're not going to play the whole game again. I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was little and cool. Yeah, when I've done Rocky Horror before, because I've played through it a couple of times before. Never since the, I don't think since, definitely not since the slugs were added. Maybe since the monsters were, I can't remember. But yeah, he was just sort of standing down here waiting to join your team when you first start up the mission. But maybe that was only the first time, and other times it doesn't happen. I don't know. But he is here and he is cool, and that is nice. But anyway, let's oh, you can do that. That's nice. I'd forgotten you could do that. Hello, cat. Okay then, what other things do I want to show you? I kind of need to show you a level that has spiders in it. Does the first level have spiders in it? I'm trying to remember if the first level has spiders. I think it does. Yeah, all those years ago. Spiders? Yes, please! I need to go into the settings menu and change something because I want to see if I can find the setting that I'm looking for, because probably in gameplay perhaps. Arachnophobia mode. Enable. It didn't work. It didn't work because I don't think I saved the settings. There we go. That's better. You can see the little number go up now. So, as an absolute joke, I presume, they have enabled arachnophobia mode, which means if you don't like the little spiders, you can have little bananas. I didn't know they had little googly eyes. That's adorable, they got little googly eyes. Isn't that sweet and lovely? I love that to bits. Okay, right, enough of this rubbish. Let me show you something a bit scarier, which is a bit more important. I laughed my ass off when I saw the clip of that. Oh dear, and the changelog, what a wonderful thing. Okay, I need a level with some villainous old monsters in it. Let's use this one. Oh no, it's alright. Slimy slugs make great pets if you can afford the electricity bill. That's topical. Okay then, as you can probably see, they have updated the monsters' models with regards to particularly the ice and lava monsters to make them more in tune with the models that they had in the clips. He says if you could even click these things. How do I get my gun out? I'm not very good at this. There we are. That'll do. Nice little sort of. I thought, oh, there we are. There's sort of a little sort of explosion, sort of pop thing when it lands on the floor. That's nice, but yes, they've changed the monsters of the models. I meant the other way around, to make them look a bit more vicious. Hello, vicious man. Oh goodness. But yeah. So now they look wow, they're a bit faster than I remember. How are you getting a rock there, my friend? There's no rock there, you big silly Billy. Not that. I am going to shoot you in the bottom as soon as I get my gun back. I'm going to shoot you in the bottom. You're really strong. You're too strong. Your bottom is too well armored, my friend. That is really, really cool. Just look at that. That is a lovely, lovely model. That is really, really nice. I've totally forgotten about all the lava which is creeping up on me, haven't I? I was actually moving a bit slower, actually. No, maybe I'm talking rubbish. Maybe it's moving just as quick as it always did. Never mind. Yeah, they've upgraded them. Let me also see if I can find an example of the ice monsters as well to show you. What mission would be good for that? I'm thinking maybe I Spy?
I spy.
With my little R, something beginning with a delay. Because I'm going to have to bring down some little people to then bust through this wall here in order to show you the new ice monster texture, which I don't actually think I've seen, because they had the lava monster one in the demonstratory clip. We should probably give you guns, actually. Now that I'll do a bit of thinking about it, it'll probably be a good idea. And then as soon as they got their guns, there we go. Yeah, I think they've updated these guys. Oh, goodness! Oh, they're all spiky and knobbly and bobbly. How exciting. Yeah, I've definitely not seen these ones before. This is very nice indeed. Get a nice action shot. Oh my giddy, aren't you scary looking creatures? These are the little baby ones, please. Oh, the little baby ones, the little baby dinosaurs. They're absolutely adorable. It's a bit dinosaur, isn't it, with all the spikes on his back? It's kind of incredible. Isn't that just absolutely awesome? Come back, I wish to observe you. You are small and adorable. Never mind, you can't have everything in life. There aren't any settings about the bats, are there, of interest? Gameplay. Bats, leave miners alone. Oh, you can turn the scaring on. Oh, that's sort of nice. I'm glad you can do that. Otherwise, that would be very different from how the original game was. Can we just see how that works for the sake of completeness? We could if the bats would go in the right direction. Oh, they don't yell? Oh, they don't yell, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, the voiced ones yell. Oh, okay. I think it would be nice if the standard ones had the yell as well. Maybe make that an option so people can turn it off if they don't like it. Because I feel like that probably would annoy some people. I would like it, but I'm sure some people would find it very annoying indeed. But yeah, I'm glad to know you can have that on if you want it to be more similar to the original. Oh no! I didn't mean to press that button. Now Chief's gonna shout at me.
Bad luck. You didn't manage to collect 25 energy crystals. Mission failed.
No, don't say that. Don't go breaking my heart with those horrible phrases that you say about my failure and inadequacies as a human being and a Lego game player person. Never mind. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a muppet and a maniac. I just kind of am a muppet and a maniac. Never mind. Is that everything I wanted to show you? We talked about the UI, we talked about the groups. We can't find it. I don't know what the action station's hotkey is. I have no idea what that is. But never mind. I think I've shown you pretty much everything that needed to be seen, and we worked through Rocky Horror, so that's lovely. So now I need to tell you what this is, because you're probably wondering what this is. So, with the 1.0 release, this game is going to have 4 different campaigns, as it were. So we have Standard campaign for the nostalgic. The default experience, the levels from the original game have been slightly enhanced, fixing annoying issues and adding essentials to play smoother in a modern remake. This is essentially what we've been playing throughout the series. These are these levels, basically, which we've been playing, which, as they say, are slight alterations that occur. I'm trying to think if I can think of any examples of slight alterations. I feel like... Thank you. I feel like in Hot Stuff, this crystal isn't actually here. Is that true or not? Am I dreaming, or is that absolutely correct? No, I'm not dreaming, that is correct. Yeah, in the original game, as is portrayed by that little thumbnail, I think there's a crystal right about here, which was really annoying, because it would constantly draw all your rock raiders over here, and then they'd activate the monsters, and then they'd come and eat your face, and then everything would be very sad and upsetting, and you'd, you know, go and cry, and then, I don't know, go have a bath or whatever it is you do after having a cry in this 21st century that we live in. Yes, they've done little edits like that in order to change them, so that is essentially what you have got there. So that's basically what we've been playing thus far. Then you have Classic campaign for the purists. Not a recommended experience. The original Classic levels with absolutely nothing altered. It will feel obsolete and frustrated compared to the enhanced campaigns. So what this is, to the best of my knowledge, is this is a as true reproduction as they can possibly make to the original levels. Everything will be as similar as they can make it to how it was originally in the original game, for the people that just want it with shinier graphics, essentially. So if you want that, you can have that. Then there is this, the remastered campaign. For those who want more, the original levels are reimagined and expanded to offer a new experience based on the new functions of Manic Miners, essentially New Game Plus, if the original levels felt too simple. Now, what exactly that means when it comes down to the sort of the bones of it, bloody hell, I don't think that was meant to happen. What that actually means when you get down to it, I'm not actually sure. So it would appear to be the same levels again, but sort of expanded upon a little bit to some degree. I'm not entirely sure how that's different. I don't know if I'll look into that or not, but yeah, you know, it's nice to have that there for the people that have played this game to death, basically for people like me. And then, which is serendipitous, we also have Basmod for the veterans. Basmod was a famous full-game overhaul mod for the original LEGO Rock Raiders that changed levels, mechanics, and progression. The 33 levels have been made playable in Manic Miners with the permission from Baz himself. Yes, the large mobile laser cutter will drive on lava. Note, by playing, all your walrus will legally belong to Baz. I'm sorry, Baz, I don't own any walruses. I assume that's some sort of in-joke that I'm not familiar with. So yeah, as it says, Basmod is some sort of full-game overhaul mod for the original game. It's something I had no knowledge about. I actually discovered this after Manic Miners. I didn't know anything about it at the time, mainly because we didn't get like proper internet in my house for a really long time. But that's a story for another day. Yeah, so basically this is like newer and bigger and better and different, and we have seen this to some degree before. In one of the custom level videos, I showed you, where is it? I showed you Drillonite Baz, this one here, which, as we saw, was a kind of expanded upon sort of reimagining, if you like, of the very first level of the game, where the objectives are increased, the map is bigger, that sort of thing. Now, as you can see here, these are the names of all the Bazmod levels, which I have here. So what these are sort of downloaded files as if they were custom levels. But it seems like they want to go a little bit further than that and actually sort of bake them into the main body of the game in the first place, which is real nice. So I'm on the wrong thing here, and I'm sorry about that. But where's the first? Presumably this is the first one. I don't know if you can hear that. Let me fix that in editing for you. Indeed. Is that Baz? I have no idea who Baz is, but whoever Baz is, he's probably a nice person, given that he's seems to have spent an awful lot of time making all of this for all of us. So that's very nice of him, isn't it? So yes, there's this to be played, and this kind of leads into the sort of the future of the series. So that's everything new that's in the game that I wanted to show you. Everything new that I am aware of that's been implemented that I think is worth discussing, worth talking about. Obviously, there've been a lot of overhauls in terms of like quality, in terms of like running properly, in terms of fixing bugs, things like that. Obviously, I'm not going to talk to the specific details of those because there's sort of like under the hood stuff that we're not too worried about. I want to show you the flashy, exciting things. So yeah, that's everything for the campaign. The campaign is now finished and completed. So now I want to talk about the future of the series with regard to sort of me, myself, and I, and much more importantly, you. So what do I want to do with the series from here on? What I want to do with the series is Bazmod, because I am real curious to see what Baz had up his sleeve back in what I presume was the 90s. At least I assume it was the 90s, but back in the 90s it would have been a hell of a lot harder to distribute a mod via the internet as it existed in the 90s. At least I think the internet existed to some degree in the 90s. I'm honestly not sure. My internet history is not really good, but it would have been very difficult to distribute that in the 2000s. Maybe it was later than that. Maybe it was in like the 2000s. I don't know. But yeah, I want to play through the Bazmod, the levels. So I'm going to continue the series. The series will continue with Bazmod, essentially. So what my plan is to just play through the Bazmod sort of bit by bit over time, probably doing one video a month or sort of once every 6 weeks, sort of depending on sort of when I'm in the mood to do it, I suppose, because I think it's important to sort of do it when I'm feeling into it and feeling sort of pepped up and sort of excited to do it, rather than sort of doing it on like a schedule that's too firm, for the sake of the quality being higher, me doing it when I'm sort of in a good mood and things like that, rather than sort of forcing out when perhaps I'm not in the best of moods, or when I'm like very busy with other things, because goodness knows what the rest of these videos are going to hold for me. But yes, so as we saw with the Drillonite, the levels are a lot longer, the crystal requirements are much greater. I mean, for crying out loud, I think the first one, the crystal requirement is 50, which, as we've just seen, was the crystal requirement for Rocky Horror. So goodness only knows what Baz version of Rocky Horror is. I've heard that the Baz version of Back to Basics is really difficult, so I look forward to that day, but hopefully that's probably like a year away looking at this. But
Search and rescue.
why is that one unlocked? That's weird. Maybe that's a bug. Goodness knows. Oh no, you can see that. You can see space. You can see space when I don't put my mouse over the wrong bit of space. Sorry. Yes, so sort of once a month, once every 6 weeks, I'll play a bit more of the Baz. We'll slowly sort of progress our way through that. Might take a break occasionally, play some custom levels if I can find some nice custom levels to play. Speaking of custom levels, actually, and this links in a little bit to what I was talking about with higher crystal requirements, you might remember in a previous custom levels video, I was talking about levels that have insanely large crystal requirements. Well, I found another one, right? And I've written this down somewhere. What have I? Where have I written it down? There's a level called Channeled Canals, I think it's called, which has, no word of a lie, a crystal requirement of 150,000. 150,000, which is larger than the population of plenty of cities in this country. 150,000. Who has time? Who has time in the day for a level that has 150,000 crystals in it? I don't know, but if you want to play that level, then again, you know, you can find many of the custom levels in the Discord server that I referenced before. So if you want to play that, you're very welcome to. I don't think I can play that because I need a video that lasted the best part of a week to get through that. But I'm impressed that somebody actually made that. But it's a hell of a thing. But yes, because the Basmod levels are a bit longer, because the crystal requirements are a bit higher, the videos may be a bit slower. I know in the custom levels videos we've tended to do sort of 2 levels of video, which has been quite a nice way of balancing it. But I'm not, you know, I can't guarantee it will be the same sort of regularity. We might get through 1 level, we might get through 3 levels, no idea. We'll just sort of play it by ear a bit. It will be a bit more relaxed, a little bit more laid back. The commentary might be a bit different as well. I might just sort of ramble inanely about absolute rubbish at times, or just like, you know, sort of tell stories, or like yammer on about various different nostalgic crap that I can think of, because obviously we've done an awful lot of Manic Miners at this point, so eventually even champion wafflers like me run out of things to say. So you know, we might like start playing the level, and then once we get to like the sort of the farmy bit, perhaps where we're just like drilling things out and sort of collecting stuff up or building the base or whatever, I might just sort of ramble about some sort of incoherent tribe for a while. You know, like, I don't know, tell you a story, or sort of something like that. I don't know. Perhaps while that goes on, for the sake of there not being sort of big jump cuts in there, so a bit more sort of relaxed, laid back, a bit more just sort of sit down, sort of just chill and play games and sort of chat together, which I think will be a sort of a nice change of pace and make things sort of nice for us. But anyway, was there anything else I wanted to say? Oh yeah. I don't know, I mentioned this in another custom levels video. I am still open to the idea of doing live streams for videos, particularly sort of longer, bigger videos, or bigger levels even, like, you know, back to the basics, for example. My only concern about that is mainly the organisation of that, really, in the sense that my internet here isn't really strong enough to really capacitate a proper live stream, because I've never actually experimented with that. I've never done a live stream from here, so from anywhere actually. I've never live streamed in my life, so I actually have no idea whether the internet here is capable of it, so that may be a technical problem. And also the organisation thing, in the sense that I have no idea when would be a good time to actually put it like scheduled for, because looking at the YouTube statistics, the channel seems to have a very international audience. There are people from every continent, which is awesome and amazing and wonderful, but also kind of terrifying, in the sense that if I organised it for like the evening, like, you know, like when the videos come out, for example, that might work fine for people in Europe, but then like for the Americans, I don't know, they're still at work, and the people in Asia have gone to bed, so it might not work very well. And I'd like to organise it at a time when everyone that wants to attend could attend, as and if they want to. So yeah, I'm still open to that idea, but I don't know whether I can actually technically make it work. So we might be slightly screwed. Should we go back here where there's some music? Thank you. Was there some different music down here? Yes, there's this music. I like this music. This is nice music. I still have no idea what this is. This is what this is under construction. I don't know whether that means it's like it's not complete yet in terms of the game, like reminding you that it's an early version, or whether they're implying they're going to put something down here later. I don't know. This developer likes their sort of secrets. They like having slightly sneaky things here, which is nice, but also not mysterious. But anyway, I think that's about enough yammering from me. The only other thing that I want to say is something that's possibly already happened by the time this video goes out, or possibly not. I'm going to change the titles of the videos a little bit, sort of retroactively, in the sense that each Manic Miners video is going to have a slightly new title to what it had before, just to make it a little bit easier to figure out what certain videos actually are. So before, the titles have always been Manic Miners / Lego Rock Raiders Remastered, and then there's the unique title of the video, and then the part number. I'm just going to change that a little bit, just to be Manic Miners / Campaign, Manic Miners / Custom Levels, or Manic Miners / Bazmod. So this, for example, as you can see, will be Manic Miners / Campaign. When we start doing Bazmod, that'll be /Bazmod, and I'll change the Custom Levels videos to be /Custom Levels, so that when you're looking through the place, it's easier to identify what it is that you want to see. Because if you're looking for the campaign, I want to make it obvious what's the campaign. If you're looking for custom levels specifically, then I want to make it a bit easier for people just to find what they're looking for. So that's just a small change that's going to occur. So hopefully that will be positively received. But anyway, I think that's enough yammering on and faffing around from me. So I think that's about everything I want to say, other than just one final point with regard to the future of the series and playing the Bazmod things. Obviously, if you have any suggestions or sort of recommendations of how you'd like sort of the Bazmod stuff to go, whether you you know, you I don't know, you like the idea of live streams, or you hate the idea of live streams, or you like the idea of it being a bit more laid back and a bit more relaxed and just sort of generally chatting about various different whiff-waff, or whether strange word to suddenly strike out of the air, Phil, a word you've never said before, but never mind. I think whiff-waff is an ancient name for ping pong, but I could be entirely mistaken, or table tennis or something like that. I can't remember. Never mind. Yeah, if you've got any like suggestions of things that you would like to see, or things that you don't want to see, or how the sort of the style or the pacing or the regularity or anything at all, please do make any recommendations or suggestions or feedback that you would like, because I will be more than happy to act on that, because of course at the end of the day these videos aren't here to entertain me, they're here to entertain you. So if you have any suggestions on making it better for you, please do let me know, so that I can implement that, and I can do that, and that bit all good. Okay then. Well, it hasn't been as much of a disaster as I thought it would be. Things haven't gone quite according to plan, but that's alright. I think we've said everything that we need to. I hope it's been a sufficient conclusion to the main campaign of the game. As I said, not the end of the series. We'll go on to play Bazmod. It does strike me, I presume this is all functioning. I presume that this version, with like the Bazmod levels in here, is all functioning. If it's not, then of course we can come back to doing it here. But if we can do it within like a campaign screen, that would be really awesome. But I'll do some testing with that to make sure that that's whether that's working or not before we actually get on with that in a month or 6 weeks or whenever it happens. So yes, I think that's everything that needs to be said. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed the series if you've been watching it, as much or as little of it as you have seen. I am grateful for all of the comments that people have put through, and I'm really grateful for people's patience. I appreciate that this video was a hell of a lot later than anybody expected it to be, even me. I was expecting this video to happen like around Christmas, but as I said, the 1.0 version came out a bit later than I thought it did, but it seems to be basically awesome and brilliant. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for this. This has been special, and thank you for being here with me. So look after each other, and good night.